Friends, let me begin this talk by telling you a story. Once upon a time, there was a owner of an apartment, or to say a building, who appointed a watchman. So the watchman, and along with other watchmen, were scheduled by days. During one day, that one watchman would look after a day, and one watchman at night would be appointed. But it so happened that this watchman slept on one night, and thus thieves came that time and broke into houses and stole belongings. This watchman, who was not aware of this cause, slept, so that's why the houses were full of cries and sorrow. Tomorrow morning, we would later examine that there is going to be a great punishment for this watchman. So the watchman gathered, and the watchmen and all the people gathered, and the owner of the house was there. The watchman feared for his great mistake that he had done, so he begged forgiveness from the owner, and not to relieve of his position. The watchman all though insisted that he might be removed, and the people too. But the owner, upon his mercy, restored him again and let him exercise the same duty. Friends, why I'm telling this story is, this compares us actually. We are like that watchmen who might have failed our Lord many times through our same sleep. But what is this sleep called? This sleep is none other than, to say, uh, ignorance of God itself. Ignorance. The watchman slept in ignorance of his own duty, that he should be the one who is guarding. And as to add that he slept on night, on the day he slept, so we can say that the thieves broke into the house, and it took effects upon everyone, making us to remove of our call that the Lord has preserved for us. In the same way, everyone shouts at us, remove the call from him, give him his punishment, a chastisement. But since he is merciful, we know that he restores us at that time. It's similar with the Saint Peter, who had failed our Lord many times. We see that Saint Peter's role was prominent among the apostles. He was the one who has revealed that Jesus is the Son of God, the person who would speak always first, then other apostles, but yet fails Jesus by denying 3 times. But yet God restores him to the priesthood. Now, why I am even saying about Saint Peter's, this may compare as priests. This is about priesthood and the restoration. Now, we priests might have failed our Lord many times, and even lay people. It's for you also. Don't skip up. We might have failed our Lord many times in this holy priesthood, or discerning the call. We might have failed him always, like Saint Peter, but yet our Lord restored him always, because our Lord trusted. After the resurrection, our Lord does not condemn Saint Peter, or rather removes the apostleship from him and gives to Saint John. Neither he does of anything like that, but rather he gives him the greater responsibilities and authority over the church, making him his representative. We must find out that even we priests might have failed our Lord many times. Actually, we all are not worthy to become a priest yet, and every priest agrees with me. There is no priest that can ever say, I am worthy of priesthood, so that's when God has chosen me. No, he did not choose us because we are worthy, but rather he chose us so that we may glorify him. And our Lord chooses these sinners, these rejected ones, so that he may use these rejected ones to glorify the earth and glorify his name more. I mean, how can I say glorify that? See, for example, Saint Matthew, when he was chosen, what he did? He contributed himself by writing a gospel. He wrote about our Lord's life, and thus how he contributed to the glorification of God in this manner. Many people, whenever they read the Matthew's gospel, they get some some teachings of Jesus and understand, oh yes, this is the instructions. You know, every sinner is called by God, and God calls every sinner. We are rejected ones. And there is one person, a first century person, who agrees himself that he is a fool for the sake of Christ, and willingly he writes that we are fools for the sake of Christ, and that's Saint Paul the Apostle. And yes, we priests are to imitate in the same way. And the reason I'm giving this talk is also to let you remind that there is a topic in this talk. So today's topic is the lowest people in the world, and these are the lowest people in the world, the priests. Actually, we may think that priesthood is an authority, but in fact priesthood is humility. It's the lowest authority. Yes, but spiritual it's the highest. God, not then saint, but rather it's the highest one, where God could call us. And yes, he might appoint this higher call, the priesthood, to us, the unworthy ones. We all have a dark past, so he calls us to ensure a better future. Saint Peter might have a bad past, or Saint Matthew might have a bad past, Saint Mary Magdalene might have a bad past, but our Lord calls these all three to ensure that they might have a better future. And why am I even saying all this? To always remind us that we priests who neglect sinners on the day of judgment, our Lord himself will neglect us, because we have been given a higher call. And as Saint Peter was called by our Lord, see, our Lord who called Saint Peter, who is unworthy, but he denied Jesus 3 times, restores him to authority. And Saint Peter in turn saves souls through Christ. And we priests are like that. We might have a dark past, but when Lord called us, come, go, be a priest. I mean, he does not say directly like that in form of a vision, but what he says is, come, go, and be my priest, serve these people. And when he calls like that, we all are obliged. Now we priests, when God called us sinner, we must call other sinners to Christ. We must draw them all, and that's what I want to say to you all. If our sermon is poor, if our holiness is poor, offer it again. Do not worry, it's never too late. We know that always there is no limit to God's mercy. Now, for example, look at the constellations. I mean, look at galaxies. Look at the whole universe. Has anyone in the earth measured the lengths of the universe? No. So is it God's mercy. But even if we compare that, I can say that God's mercy can be measured even in the comparison of universe. It's beyond his limits. One of the most thing is, how can I restore a person who failed? Even if in place of Jesus, I think if we sinners are in a call to restore, to choose someone for a greater call, I'm sure some of us would pick Saint John, the apostle who is with us. But yet Jesus is the opposite. He knows that sinners will glorify him more than the one who is holy. So thus he says that he has not come to call the righteous but the sinners. That doesn't mean that righteous do not have a call. They have a call. Yes, something might have happened. There might have been loss of schools, vocations, but yet our Lord promises that there is a renewal in this priesthood. But only how? Only through the renewal of the church. We priests can renew the church only in the limit of obedience. Look, if we are not drawing sinners, we are judged. Our Lord will say like that, I have called you to be a priest, but what is this you have done to me? Have you even bought one soul? Yes, I know it's hard. I mean, literally, if you'll take these words, you must try your best. I know that Jeremiah might have not saved the whole Israel. The prophet did not convert the whole Israel, but at least he tried the preaching duty. At least I think some of them might have been saved, but at least if we'll try our best like Jeremiah to preach, save and be in holiness, I'm sure they could save. Always, not only that a building man seeks, it means the one who is thinking to construct a building, he always sees that there may be a laborers with low wages, so that he could pay off in low wages. He tries to make an agreement, and our Lord tries to see whether he is less holy, is he a sinner with bad reputation, is he someone rejected by others, and he offers this call to us. Yes, I am unworthy of this priesthood. Even Fulton Sheen says in one of his talks that I still think myself as unworthy of this and call. Yes, you are also unworthy of this priesthood, those who are discerning the seminary. But yet, the Lord in His mercy chooses us to be priests and to bring sinners back. Our Lord promises us priests specially that we would be fishers of men, and we must, of course, fish men with those same instruments how a fisherman fishes. He uses the instrument, I think it's called hook, and he brings up fish. Yes, and we must also bring out that same fish, those who are in this world. If you look at the sea, the sea is the world. Many people have been in this world, and we who are appointed by Christ, we must bring them back. And as I said, that there are the lowest people in the world as priests. Of course, they are the lowest people in the world, because there are fools for the sake of. They admit that we are the fools for sake of Christ. The Saint Paul, the apostle of Gentiles, himself admits. So are we. Yes, if I say to a worldly guy, the guy who is in his passions, if I say to him, hey, I'm going to be a priest, then he is going to say it's a life waste. Let me share you a story. It's better to not reveal his name. Recently, some days ago, probably it's before my birthday, one of my well-known brothers came to our house, and we were talking, eventually playing, and I expressed my desire to be a priest. He said, "Priest, it's a foolishness." Of course, it might be a foolishness. I admit it's a foolishness. But yes, he might be not a Catholic, but at a sense he knows that priests are serving for the Lord. He said to me, "Take interest in marriage." But I was in conviction to be a priest, and so are you, my beloved. Saint John says, "Do not love the things of the world." Yes, all the apostles, saints say, "Do not love the things of the world." I might have discussed somewhat more. I have said you that the priests are fools for the sake of world, and we are unworthy yet called by the Lord through His grace, and we must also in turn bring other sinners who have been rejected by God. Today there are 100,000 Mary Magdalenes, Saint Peter, Matthew, Zacchaeus. I might have made a mistake, forgive me. Yes, even Prophet Isaiah, who said that I lived in a city of sin. Even the woman who was about to be stoned in the Gospel of John chapter 8. There are thousands of them, and we who are once upon a time like them, who are once upon a time like Mary Magdalene, Zacchaeus. Now the Lord sends us priests to go and bring this and say, "Go and sin no more." Because the world has been condemning these sinners. Thank you, and God bless you.